Absolute value equations. All right, good stuff. So let's just review a little bit with absolute value. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. So for example, if I have the absolute value of 5, I'm asking you how far is 5 from 0 on a number line? And the answer would be 5. If I asked you for the absolute value of negative 12, I'm asking you how far is negative 12 from 0 on a number line? And that's also 12. So here we have an equation that we have to solve. It's an absolute value equation. So if I asked you what's the absolute value of a number and it's equal to 5. Well, there are two numbers that have an absolute value of 5. 5 and negative 5, right? So there would be two answers for what A could be, right? A could be negative 5 because that's 5 away from 0. But A could also be positive 5 because positive 5 is also 5 away from 0. So the problem here is they give us the absolute value of 2x minus 4 is equal to 6. So a little bit more involved than just saying the absolute value of a number is equal to 5. They're saying the absolute value of this whole expression is equal to 6. So the first thing that we want to do is, similar to this problem, is there are two answers that have an absolute value of 5. So same thing in this question. There are two numbers that have an absolute value of 6. And one of them will be positive 6, and one of them will be negative 6. So if you remember what we would do in class is we would take our expression in the absolute values and we would draw those two arrows and we would take what's inside the absolute value, 2x minus 4, and we would set it equal to 6. And we would take what's inside the absolute values and we would set it equal to the opposite, which is negative 6, because that's going to give us both numbers, right? Because there's two numbers that are 6 away from 0. We have to figure out what they are. And now we have two individual equations that we're going to solve. So I'm going to solve the first equation. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get 2x is equal to 10. Divide by 2, so x is equal to 5. And then the other equation, I'm going to add 4 again to both sides. So I get 2x is equal to negative 2. Divide by 2, so I get x is equal to negative 1. So there are two different values of x that will give me an absolute value that's equal to 6, 5 and negative 1. So let's check my answer. Let's say x was equal to 5. So I'm going to plug a 5 in right here for x, right? Because I think x is equal to 5. And I'm going to plug 5 in right here. So I get the absolute value of 2 times 5 minus 4. And I want to know if that's equal to 6. So this is almost like a question mark right here. So I'm going to multiply that, and I get the absolute value of 10 minus 4 is equal to 6. Subtract, and I get the absolute value of 6 is equal to 6. And what's the absolute value of 6? It's 6. That's a true statement. So 5 is one of my solutions. Well, I also think negative 1 is a solution. So I'm going to plug negative 1 in for x right here. And I'm going to see if all of this is also equal to 6. So I'll take my original problem, which is the absolute value of 2 times x, but I think x is negative 1 now, minus 4 is equal to 6. And again, this is like a question mark. Will it be equal to 6? So I'm going to multiply. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, minus 4 is equal to 6. Subtract, negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6 is equal to 6. And notice how my absolute values are still there. So now I'm going to take the absolute value of negative 6, which is 6, and that's equal to 6 as well. So my two solutions are x equals 5 and x equals negative 1. So if I go back up, the question says the equation absolute value of 2x minus 4 equals 6 The equation has two solutions. One solution is x equals 5, which I found. What is the other solution? Enter your answer in the box. So our other solution was -1. So on your test, you would enter in the box a -1.